Palace, having beaten Brighton, the big rivals, convincingly last time out, and they keep the same 11 and same subs. So all the scorers, Franco Umer, Hindalo Mustafa and Caleb Kapura, are involved from the start. So much firepower. They've been in terrific form. In fact, ironically, the only defeat in recent times was against Chelsea in the final game of the league campaign proper. The heavens have opened, the rain is cascading down at the VBS Community Stadium, and Chelsea have Sam Raksaki, who's actually Jaz's younger brother, the Palace player who's been on loan with Sheffield United, and Richard Elise, Michael's younger brother, former Palace player now with Bayern Munich. He is on the bench, and he was one of the scorers in the 4-2 win, but that has little meaning. There was nothing on that game. Both teams had already qualified in the top 8 and secured a home game in the last 16. Chelsea won theirs, Palace won theirs, and the stage is very much set. Remember, seconds from kick-off. Palace so impressive in beating Brighton. Can they now get the better of Chelsea? Same team, same subs. They hope for the same result. Palace, Premier League, International Cup winners last season. Can they get more silverware? Should be goals, should be excitement, should be drama. So much talent in these two lineups. Just a recap on the team in case you missed it. Palace with Louis Molden in goal. The back three, George King, Mofe Jamide and Luke Brown, the captain. Two wing-backs, Kelly Kapura, Rio Cardines, in central midfield, Joe Gibbard and Caden Rodney. As the keeper comes out and blasts it away. The front three, and what a tasty front three it is as well. Hindalo Mustafa, Ademola Ola Adabomi and Franco Umer, who is certainly a player for the big occasion. The Palace bench, Dylan Reid, Jake Grant, Zach Marsh, Seb Williams and young Joel Drakes Thomas. Great to have him involved in the squad again. Chelsea with Ted Curd in goal. Their outfield players, Brody Hughes, Harrison Murray, Landon Emanalo, Ish Samuel Smith. Harrison McMahon's the captain. Genesis Antwi, one of the scorers when they beat Palace here a few weeks ago. Sam Raksaki, Donnell McNeely, Keanu Dyer and Ronnie Stutter, who was a key player in that game. Richard Elise on the bench with Max Merrick, Shamira Mahuka, Atto Ampar and Ryan Kavuma McQueen. The rain falling down. Terrific playing surface. Sutton finished their just putting the finishing touches to their National League season. That'll end on Monday. Their return following the stint in the EFL. They actually got to the final of the National League Cup, but losing to the Leeds youngsters on that showpiece occasion. Palace's under-21s want to get to a final, like the seniors in the FA Cup. Challenge comes in. Referee blows his whistle. Joe Gibbard sliding on this greasy playing surface now, with the rain having fallen just before kick-off. And they've won a set piece. It's going to be a yellow card for Gibbard, I think. And he's not disputing it. I was well aware he was being beaten for pace there by the lively Donnell McNeely, who is a handful without a shadow of a doubt. So we have a free kick in a central position. Full 90 delayed coverage on Palace TV Plus, all the highlights, the best coverage of the youth teams, under 18s finishing their league campaign tomorrow against Brighton. Be great to get another victory against the Seagulls. Standing over it is Keanu Dyer. Is he going to ping one with his right on the 3-minute mark at the VBS Community Stadium on this Friday night? In it comes, right-footed, smashes it towards goal. He was flinging himself to his right-hand side, was Louis Molden. Might have got there. Nothing to concern him though, as it flashes wide of the upright. Clipped it cleverly, but not quite cleverly enough, did Dyer, with an early sight of goal for the visitors. Remember, Palace TV Plus tomorrow, Saturday the 3rd of May. Live coverage, Palace under-18s against Brighton. Kicking off at 11 a.m. Danaher at the double. In the recent game, offside, scoring sub, I remember in a match recovered. Did so well towards the top of the table by the under-18s, as of the under-21s this term. Real feel-good factor about Palace with the FA Cup final, a tantalising prospect in 2 weeks. Here's the ball hit too firmly by Donnell McNeely, and it's through into the gloves of Louis Molden. Remember, Bank Holiday Monday, evening kick-off, live audio commentary of Palace versus Forest in the Premier League. Big league matches to come before the FA Cup final. What a performance it was. Great goal from Eze. Sarr with a double to sink Villa. A vibrant, buoyant Palace performance. We've seen so many of those from the under-21s this season. Great wins against West Ham, Manchester City towards the end of the campaign, full of goals, full of brilliance. Quick footwork by Ted Curd, the Chelsea keeper. His bright outfit. Must be a rainbow over the ground with sunshine following the storm. Now it's with Brody Hughes for Chelsea on the attack inside the penalty area now with Genesis Antwi, who is one of their main threats. Very impressive in the last meeting. Chelsea have started this game well. Donnell McNeely with the ball now for Brody Hughes. Hughes to the byline. Palace well organised, well drilled, all know their jobs. Comes for Antwi again. Cross first time towards Raksaki. Can't get there. And then the shot is hit low and cleared well. Seems strange to be talking about Raksaki playing against Palace, but it is Jazz's younger brother. Well, early stages, you'd say it's been Chelsea who've done the probing, the prompting, the referee just communicating there with his fourth official. The winners, by the way, face Southampton or Fulham in the semi-finals. They play on Monday night. Finished 4-2 to Chelsea just over 3 weeks ago. It was Palace's only defeat in 9 games, winning 6 and drawing 2 of the 8 others. Palace finishing 6th, Chelsea in 3rd, just the 3 points difference. We were speculating, actually, weren't we, during the game, thinking, well, they could play each other again, and that's how it's proved. Here now is the ball. George King and Luke Brown just growing into the game here, Crystal Palace. Rodney for Mofe Jamide, his second straight start after missing more than 3 months with injury. Luke Brown, a proud captain. Hits one forward, his opposing number 5, Samuel Smith, just shepherds the ball out of play. Jemira Mola actually still the top scorer, would you believe, 13 in 16 before his loan to Port Vale, helping the Valiants to promotion in League 2. They've done so well, haven't they? So many of the Palace's loan players in the EFL and elsewhere. And you think Danny Imre, Young Player of the Year for Bromley. And we've seen him do so well for this team. 8th minute, 0-0. Here come Chelsea again with Antwi, rapid, lively, threatening, and winning a corner kick. They'll be happy to have kept Chelsea at bay so far, but Dyer will go over to take this one. Prepares from the right wing. I think it's going to be a right boot as well. The likes of Harrison, Murray, Campbell and Emanalo have gone forward. Here's Hughes. And the cross is picked out of the air calmly by Molden. With Goodman does so well. Young keepers on loan. And then Speroni will be happy with Louis Molden and how he's performed, I'm sure. Former Eagle Palace's goalkeeping coach. The main boss, Darren Powell, assisted by Anthony Hayes. It's a good team behind the team. Here's Ola Adebayomi. Good link-up play. What a run this is, and what a goal! Sensational stuff from Hindalo Mustafa. Pick that one out. It was rapid, it was clinical, it was oh so effective. Palace have their noses in front. That was dazzling and dynamic. Ola Adebayomi putting it into the path of Hindalo Mustafa. What a season he is having. He scored in the win over Brighton. He's at it again in the quarter-final against Chelsea. He's into double figures for the season now. And that was unstoppable. Absolutely no chance in the Chelsea goal for Ted Kurd. Hindalo, the hero, makes it 1-0 in the London derby. Chelsea started brightly, but Palace, that's what they can do. There's so much power, there's so much pace, there's so much subtlety in this front three. Umar, we know all about him, and it was Ola Adebayomi and Mustafa who combined to wonderful effect. Palace 1, Chelsea 0. And that was a absolute, I mean, he's really got the laces through that. And there's just no way, Kurd was even if he got a touch, I think it would have taken the keeper into the net. Such was the ferocity and velocity of the hit, and that's nice symmetry, isn't it? 10 for the number 10. A perfect 10. But you've got to give Ola Adebayomi some credit as well. Here comes Chelsea. Oh, it's you attack, we attack. It's a bit like a game of basketball at the moment as the shot comes through from Donnell McNeely. And that just took a favourable deflection, and Molden is able to claim. But Chelsea were the team really who raced out of the blocks. They were very positive from the outset with a few attacks. Didn't really test Molden, but that was the classic counter-attack, and that's what Palace are all about. Ola Adebayomi's not just a goal scorer, is he, when you look at it? Yeah, he's got 9 in 12, he's been in great form. Got 2 in the 5-2 at West Ham, didn't he? And he's got the 1 assist, but he's so good at linking up the play. And Mustafa just like a man possessed, wasn't he? Just raced through the middle, sat himself, pulled the trigger, and he sprinkles magic stardust over this Premier League 2 quarter-final. And I said that when we got to the end of the season, it's going to take a very good team to stop Palace. And I just think the meeting between these two was pretty much irrelevant. I mean, both sides had already qualified for the playoffs. You knew Palace would up the game when it really mattered. Anyway, still a long way to go. Here come Chelsea now with Antwi. Antwi looking to pick out McNeely, but it's with Palace's number 7, Rio Cardines. Got the first in the scintillating second-half comeback win at Manchester City. Comes out this time, does Kurd. Had to be rapid, but he was just clipped, I think, by Franco Umar, who was looking to get the better of the keeper, who sprinted out of his penalty area. Umar did actually get the last goal in the 6-goal meeting between these two in deep inside stoppage time. He's got 5 in 14 this season, 1 assist. Scored in his last 3 games, so can he keep that sequence going, I wonder? Of course, here it was, he scored that win the Premier League International Cup. They lifted a trophy at the end of last season, the under-21s. Can they do it again here? It's a really competitive division, but Palace have been one of the better teams in it. Fully deserved their place in the quarter-finals, and they might just go all the way. You'd have to say they're probably not going to face a better team than Chelsea, so if they can get a win here, it would give them so much confidence. Coming up to the 13-minute mark. Hughes with the throw-in. Chelsea had most of the possession and territory before a sensational breakaway goal for Crystal Palace. Ola Adebayomi, silky, clever, good read of the game to play in Hindalo Mustafa, who still had a lot to do, cantered through the middle, really galloping positively, composed himself and fired emphatically, decisively into the back of the net. 1-0 Palace. They'll not rest on the laurels. They'll go for a second goal here, though. Here's Caleb Kapora on his new contract into the senior setup. Really good campaign for him. And Palace just oozing quality. They've gone off to the ideal start here. 14 gone at the VBS Community Stadium, home of Sutton United FC on Palace TV+. 1-0 to the hosts. So much to look forward to in the next few weeks. The ball is knocked by Mustafa, hoping to turn provider, but it's through for Kurd, who was powerless to prevent Mustafa's rocket of a shot. Real rip snorter, howitzer flying past him at pace. Here's the low cross, that's dangerous from Brodie Hughes towards McNeely, but away. They're resilient in the rear guard, aren't they, with King, Brown, Jamide, the central defenders. On that occasion, it was the number 5, Luke Brown, to belt it away from in front of the lurking Donnell McNeely. Layoff there by Sam Raksaki. Landon Emanalo. He's got a touch of the David Luiz's about him, the former Chelsea player, as Emanalo. If he goes on to have anything like that career, he'll be happy. Chelsea seniors, of course, pushing for a place in the Champions League next season and may end up with a trophy in the Europa Conference League. Of course, they have used many young players on the run to the semi-finals. Looking good for the final here. Now comes McMahon, the captain. Antwi with a little bit of trickery. He's got Brodie Hughes on the overlap. Hughes plays it back for Antwi, scoops it in to the centre and headed away. Donnell McNeely couldn't guide it inside the post there. More persistent, slick attacking from the visitors, but no end product. They haven't had that cutting edge in the final third, but a lot of that is down to the way Crystal Palace have applied themselves so far. It's been played at a high tempo to talented crops of youngsters. Brown for Caden Rodney, dropping deep. Worked it for Cardines. Good options on the bench for Palace as well. And you think Dylan Reed's on there. He provided my favourite moment of the season with an injury time winner at Manchester City. Remember, 2-0 down. And at Joy Stadium, they ended up winning 3-2. Reed with a brilliant shot into the corner. We've got Jake Grant, Zach Marsh, so consistent this season when he's played. Seb Williams on the bench as well. Header steered back by Samuel Smith for his keeper Kurd. Joel Drakes Thomas, second appearance in the matchday squad. Having made his debut as a sub against Brighton. He's an under-16s player. And Seb Williams also on the bench. Scored the 5th in the 5-2 at West Ham, his first goal at this level, having done so well for the under-18s. So the future's bright for sure. Chelsea there, they've got Richard Lise, Max Merrick, Shamira Mahuka, Ato Amper and Ryan Kavuma McQueen, so perhaps we'll see them later. But the players out there at the moment, doing their clubs proud. It's Palace in the box seat. They get the insurance of a second. They're applying pressure on the Chelsea goalkeeper Ted Kurd, who hasn't had much to do apart from picking his ball out the net. Even Alisson, Andy Martinez, Henderson, you know, any top keeper would have struggled to keep that out. It's always nice to score any goal. They all count the same, but when you can score a stunner like that, it feels even better, especially on a big night. I just knew he was going to get a good game, and it's not disappointing. Great work again. What he's done so far has been terrific. Ademola Adebayomi. He was involved in the goal, and there he is involved winning a set piece. Now, Franca Ume's going to take it, I think. Joe Gibbard's going over as well to provide a short option, offer his services. Chance to get the likes of Brown, of Jamide, forward from the back here. George King will be going up as well, with Kapora providing the cover. So it's all hands to the pump for Chelsea. Could Palace double their advantage here? It's the left of Ume or the right of Gibbard. I think it'll be Ume, the way he's setting himself here. Palace's number 11. 20th minute, in the sunshine. Gibbard moves away. Ume, well, disappointing. His body language suggested that he was going to really clip one for a teammate, but he got that one all wrong. Such as his pedigree, both recently and in past seasons for Palace, will allow him the odd error. Won't stop him trying something again. Very confident batch of players, this. And they've provided the game's golden moment.
No, Gibbard can drop a few.
Indolo Mustafa's wonder strike separating the sides.
He's there, yeah, that's better.
He did score in the game at the end of the season. Ball played forward now for McNeely. Tries to pick out Antwi at the far post. Got a tight angle to shoot from, so he elected the cross. Antwi for Hughes. They've linked up well down the right-hand side. They've given Cardines and Jamide plenty to think about. Dyer and Raksaki away by Luke Brown. No nonsense on the volley. Judged the flight well. Approaching the midway point of the first half at Sutton. 1-0 Palace here. Premier League 2 playoff quarter-final. It's with Emanalo and Murray Campbell. Best coverage, of course, of the senior team, under 18s, also the women's team. They're heading back to the championship, but last time they played in the second tier, got promoted, a rebuild, and look to go again next term. Emanalo. Antwi assesses and then plays the raking diagonal ball for Antwi. Antwi up against Jamide here. Antwi into the penalty area. Gets the crossover and he hits it low into the turf and it bounces up there. Ronnie Stutter hasn't been too involved in the game so far. That's a good opportunity though for the Chelsea number 11, who looked good in the last encounter between Chelsea and Palace, but he'll be disappointed with that finish. It was really good work in the build-up, but he's unable to force a save out of Louis Molden. They haven't had their shooting boots on as yet. Chelsea. Jamide. There've been a couple of heart-stopping moments where the nerves have been jangling, the fingernails have been bitten, but no damage done. It's almost as if Palace have played a bit like the away team, isn't it? Chelsea have had a lot of the play, but Palace have broken superbly, and here they come again. Kapora playing in Ume. And now Caden Rodney back to goal. Ola Adebayomi. Rodney for Cardines. About a quarter of this playoff quarter-final. So far, so very good for Crystal Palace's under-21s. Mustafa, the goal scorer, does well, takes a tumble, but he just ran out of room there, did Indolo, and it goes over the perimeter of the pitch. And Tad Kurd not called into action on that occasion. But, well, the outfield players of Chelsea have had their moments. Stutter the latest to fluff his lines, but they have played some good football without getting any reward. Palace, a well-drilled outfit under Darren Powell. They've had one clear chance and scored.
Just got to try and like.
Adebomi's assist, and then Hindalay Mustafa carrying the ball at pace and then lashing into the net. Dyer and McNeely, having dropped deep, slots the pass. Great work there. That's brilliant defending by Caleb Kapora. Astute game awareness, reading the situation, presence of mind, and a crucial interception. Intervening well for the team. Here's the ball hooked forward by Umar. Header glanced on by Ola Adebomi, and it's Caleb Kapora who's just snuffed out that Chelsea attack. It was up the other end, showing excellent fitness levels, excelling in defence and hoping to do so in attack. McNeely for Samuel Smith. Is it going to be one of those nights for Chelsea? Palace certainly hope so. Harrison Murray Campbell for Sam Raksaki, talented football family. A difficult one for Jazz watching tonight, isn't it? Ball play through the middle now. Could Palace be in again? He just strayed Adebomi. An offside position. We had a downpour just before the game started. Now blue skies and sunshine. Classically British. Palace have been in their element of late, churning out result after result. Coming on strong. They fell at the playoff hurdle last season, but they want to go all the way this term. Ball angle forward for Hughes, but again it was Caleb Kapora with an outstanding piece of work. Emanalo, 26th minute, 1-0 Palace. Chelsea on the attack again. Stutter, who came fairly close a few minutes ago. Stutter for McNeely. Got that low centre of gravity, shields the ball well. And now Genesis Antwi takes up the play. First time cross is a good one, but more fine rearguard work. Hughes takes on Mofe Jamide, didn't lunge in, made himself large. And Hughes went into a cul-de-sac. They've explored every avenue, but they've had the doors slammed shut in their faces more often than not. They have got a right wing corner though. Keanu Dyer on dead ball duty, charged with the responsibility from the set play. Just doing his laces up, places the ball in the quadrant. The flag, as you can see, hanging limply to his right, so not much in the way of a breeze here. Dyer, left arm up, right boot used from the right wing. It's a good one, the header over the bar. Emanalo went up there, one or two others as well. But another half chance goes begging really for Chelsea. It really looked like scoring so far, despite some of their play. As Emanalo and Samuel Smith were both trying to sow the seeds of doubt. Well, it'd certainly take a 1-0 scoreline at half-time, but it's the type of game where you would expect more goals. If Palace can keep a clean sheet, they will be through to the last four. Good ball forward now for Ola Adebomi, who's been irresistible so far. And, well, just committed the foul there, I think, Hindalay Mustafa. Over eager to get to the ball. But he looked worried every time either Mustafa, Umar or Ola Adebomi get their feet on the ball. Chelsea, I know it's a dynamic front three they're up against, and two of them did link up for the only goal of the game so far. Kurd clatters clear. Now McNeely for Antwi. You always look to him for the inspiration. He can conjure something out of nothing for sure. Sam Raksaki, quick feet for Hughes, Antwi, Samuel Smith. On the dribble, forced out wide though. Good work by Jamide and the ever-willing Gibbard. He's got quite an engine on him. Tireless worker for the team. He allows the fair players to express themselves, doesn't he? The glue that keeps it together. Here's Dyer for Raksaki. Not too far from the half-hour mark. Antwi scoops over the cross. Had a wide by Samuel Smith, who glided into a menacing position, looking to get the better of George King, but thou shalt not pass is the mantra of these Palace defenders. Working for each other, showing that togetherness, the camaraderie, stubbornness, and an obdurate bunch. They've had plenty of attacks to quell, and they've done so with a minimum of fuss. Been a really efficient display so far. Remember, if it was to finish level, we would have 30 minutes of extra time and then possible penalty shootout, but Palace want to avoid that if they can. Here's the ball for the home side, but flag raised. Uma sprinting upfield, put his thumb up there to pull the piece of vision and distribution, even though he was caught offside. Now Murray Campbell for Antwi. He's had a lot of touches, hasn't he? Genesis Antwi so far. Now he's taking on Cardines. Antwi, what a run this is. Links up well with Hughes. But the whistle is blown. Well, it's been the nearly story, what might have been for Chelsea. They've had several promising attacking situations, but combination of exceptional defending and perhaps slight hesitancy in that final third means they haven't found a goal. And for all their attacking play, Molden hasn't really had to make a serious save yet. Past the third way mark. That's indeed if it's to be a 90-minute contest tonight. I've got the World Snooker happening at the moment, and it looks to be pretty much a green baize, doesn't it? And Palace pocket place in the semi-finals. They're certainly in the frame to do so. George King on the charge. Good running by the number 4, but too close to the keeper, Ted Curd, who catches comfortably. That was fantastic stuff from George King. Just what you want from one of your defenders, having the ability to bring the ball forward and to get a cross in. It's one of Palace's better moments, apart from the goal they've scored. But ruthless, clinical. Oh, given away. This could be a second now. King plays the pass. Uma just showed too much of it to Samuel Smith, who was able to get it away. And now Sam Raksaki and Ronnie Stutter playing on the left. Amanalo. Raksaki just gets enough on the pass. And here come Chelsea again with McNeely. Antwi. Hughes has moved into the middle. Antwi up against Cardines. But a good combination of Cardines and Jamide. Now it falls for Hughes. Defended so well of Palace. They're up against a really fluent, cohesive forward unit, but stopped them superbly thus far. Can't actually mean we're... here's the ball in. Oh, great save! Fantastic stop by Louis Molden. It's the first serious save he's had to make, and he comes up trumps. That is fabulous work by Palace's number 1. Just what you need from your keeper. When the shot came in, he was ready, willing, and able to repel the danger. Perfect position. Judged the flight on the ball and got it away. Danger hasn't gone completely though, and that one's hammered wide by Sam Raksaki, Jez's younger brother, hoping to find the corner there, but he couldn't do so. It opened up for him, left-footed, just cut across the ball, and it swerved away from goal. But Chelsea have been close to scoring. They just haven't found that golden touch. And that's been the difference. When it opened up for Indolo Mustafa, he was never going to miss. But Chelsea haven't been able to find the finish. Even the shot that was set, I mean, either side of Molden, I think he might have struggled, but it's a great save. Here come Palace now, looking for a second. Ola Adebayomi holding it up well for Cardines, and here's Uma. Uma now with the cutback. And it'll come, the right-footed shot from Cardines. He puts it into the net, but the whistle had been blown for either a foul or an offside. Good attack that, though, from the home team. Rapid again. So many players involved, turning defence into attack. They've broken away thrillingly in this game. Action at both ends of the pitch. It's been a breathless, compelling, enthralling first half of youth football. Can't believe we've only got to 35 minutes, actually. Louis, the Prince of Saves.
Just even in there, and they've just got the ball. You've got Bowley and Denell just stacked against each other. You've got to pull the defender away somehow. Like Denell going behind it, then you just take delivering it, just opens the ball into Bowley's foot.
I think the easier one's more because the finals are one.
Now it's played for Emanalo. Remember, you'll see the key moments.
Good.
At half-time, the fabulous goal from Indolo Mustafa. We've just seen a great save from Louis Molden as well. They've been the two best moments from Palace's point of view. Well, maybe it's going to be one of those classic rearguard efforts. Perhaps the Indolo Mustafa goal will be enough to secure passage through, but who knows? Lots of thrills and spills, ebb and flow, twists and turns to come, no doubt. 36 minutes gone nearly at the VVS Community Stadium, kicked off at 7. Palace 1, Chelsea 0. Indolo Mustafa with the Dear Diary moment.
And that's where they've got
just
to do it.
wonder
Keaton's got to lock onto the 5 then.
Significance will be that save from Louis Molden moments ago.
And then we can cover
Keep
behind
his
it.
team ahead. It's only a slender advantage. Here's McNeely going one way, then the other. Spreads the play. Dyer. And Harrison McMahon for Hughes. Antwi low, but it just hasn't happened for Chelsea. More composed defending, this time from Mofe Jamide. Quite the trio, aren't they? Jamide, King and Brown. Showing a real collective spirit, a grit, a determination, a hunger and desire. The attitudes there, the endeavour, the industry, but also the quality oozing through this Palace performance. Away low by Kurd, unconvincingly though. Indolo Mustafa and Cardines and Joe Gibbard. Will he pull the trigger? No, we'll try and link up with Uma. Gibbard continue the run, looking for a 1-2. Uma, he's always looking to make something happen, influence the game. He's got full of tricks, he's full of ideas. Here's Gibbard now. Really good run there. Great little layout from Ola Adebayomi. Gibbard, fractionally wide. And again, it's the link-up of the number 9, Ola Adebayomi, reading the situation, playing in the midfielder. Well, he deserves a goal. He's one of the unsung heroes of this team, isn't he, Joe Gibbard? Into the penalty area, hit it first time. He was being closed down by Dyer, but not a million miles away from 2-0 there. Lovely 1-2. Gibbard and Ola Adebayomi combining delightfully, but it's adjacent to the target. Yeah, so we will have some moments, tail of the tape, incidents of excited from the first half to look forward to. And we have a little breather at half-time. It's been unrelenting action. Great advert this for youth football. Here they come again. Dyer over the bar. And that epitomises Chelsea's evening so far. It's promised much but delivered little. Keanu Dyer, the latest to fail to hit the target in the centre, went for glory but just got disappointment. Exasperating for their coaches because they've actually played some really good football here. But it's almost as if you were predicting another goal, you do your bit of soothsaying. I'm not saying I always look into a crystal ball, but you'd almost back it to be Palace to score it because they just carried that greater penetration. Most obviously through the Hindley Mustafa goal. We saw Gibbard just put one wide after a good link-up with our Adebayomi. Chelsea just don't look like they have the same belief as Palace when they get in the final third. Here's Gibbard, he's having a great evening. And now it's Uma. You back him to score. Knocks it now for Kapora. Gets the shot away. Will it break? Oh, it's there! Rio Cardines makes it 2, and Palace have breathing space. The number 7 in 7th heaven. Brilliant. He scored the first in the comeback win at Manchester City, and now he has the second in this playoff quarter-final. Great work by Kapora. Ola Adebayomi involved, and Cardines sweet as a nut. Rio rejoices. Palace are into fantasy land here. They're closing in on the semi-finals. They have been really impressive tonight. They've defended stubbornly and they've sparkled when they've needed to. A wonder goal from Hindley Mustafa opened the scoring, and Rio Cardines, who gets forward so well from that left side, he glides in with intent. He was lurking and he's put it home emphatically, decisively, convincingly, and Palace have the buffer of a second goal. They're charging in on the last 4, and they're putting a very good Chelsea side to the sword here at Sutton. Palace 2, Chelsea 0. Classy composure from Cardines. And another thrilling counter-attack, absorbing, exhilarating stuff. Well, it's his second of the season, and I tell you what, he scores important goals as well, which is a good habit to get into. Set the ball rolling, and the City 3-2 win. That was quite the second half comeback, and this has been quite the first half. It's been punctuated by 2 goals for Palace from Mustafa and Cardines. Gibbard did nearly score when it was 1-0 as well, but you'd have to say Chelsea will feel aggrieved given the way the game's gone so far, but the hardest thing to do in football is stick the ball in the back of the net, isn't it? And Palace have been able to do that twice, and on that, by that token, they'll feel, well, we fully merit this advantage. Molden's only really made 1 memorable save, and it was a special one. It came at 1-0. You can't overstate the importance of that save, by the way, at 1-0, because, you know, if they get level, then suddenly the momentum's with Chelsea. He's made the save. It's so often the case, isn't it, that it just gives the outfield players that bit of a lift, that bit of a fillip and confidence. They want a third here, and you wouldn't bet against it. Can he make it 4 successive games in which he scored here? Uma unselfishly plays it into the feet of Hindley Mustafa, who wanted another one. He blasts that one over the bar. He has brought the shooting boots tonight, because we saw it earlier on. On this occasion, though, lifts his head and lifts the ball over. But Franco Uma is causing all sorts of problems. They puff, they blowed down the Chelsea house a couple of times. And now they'll point to 2 very good chances as well as the 2 goals, so they're sort of levelling up the attacking situations. Well, the next goal's vital in this game, isn't it? Good work by Luke Brown. And here they come again. Ola Adebayomi tried to thread it through the eye of a needle. He was pricked by the needle on that occasion. It's with McNeely. Antwi. They're flattered to deceive a bit though, haven't they? They've got these really pacey, sharp, bright players, but just lack that bit of certainty. And it's all about, as a young player, isn't it? It's the decision making. That's what lifts you. They're all very technically accomplished, both sets of players, but Palace have probably been the better team so far, you would think. They've shown all the qualities required to get the job done. Closing seconds of the first half. It's been free flow. We've not needed either physio, have we? Haven't seen Luke Pickard, the Palace physio, or Elliot of Chelsea, and Dr. Andy Shafiq. So it's good to see. And well, if you'd offered Palace 2-0 going into stoppage time in the first half before the game, they certainly would have taken it. Molden has played his part into stoppage time at the end of the first half. Had a flicked on, and Samuel Smith back for his keeper, Ted Kurd, who was clawing at thin air as Mustafa, and then later on Cardines found their way past him as the netting rippled with delight. Here's Antwi. Off he goes again, embarking on one of his trademark surges. Feeds Hughes. Brody Hughes for Antwi. Into the box. Hughes. Harrison McMahon keeps things ticking. Samuel Smith. Shot deflected, and then it's hit Stutter. He was trying to guide it back from whence it came. Went away from him. And Palace can be absolutely thrilled with that first half showing. They lead this game by 2-0. Half the job is done by Palace. Can they see it through? They say 2-0 can be a dangerous lead. You'd always rather be 2-0 up than 2 down. And they were staggeringly, astonishingly good in the first half. Then again, we shouldn't be surprised. Such has been the strong end to the season proper. They're carrying it through into the playoffs. Chelsea have made a change at the start of this second half. Shamira Mahuka, the number 14, has come on for Ronnie Stutter, who scored in the game here a few weeks ago. With Chelsea winning that one. Not his night tonight, though. He had a very good chance in the first half, which he scuffed, snatched at it, volleyed into the turf, and it bounced over the bar. And he's off. Palace, unsurprisingly, have stuck with the same 11 that started the game. They made no changes. They were so good against Brighton, and they've carried that on, continued where they left off. Same subs as well. So Palace in their traditional colours. Louis Molden made a brilliant save, as we saw in the highlights in that first half when it was 1-0. And goal, the central defensive trio, right to left. George King, Luke Brown, the captain, in the middle. The heartbeat, and Mofe Jamide. They've all been phenomenally good. Caleb Kapora on the right. Rio Cardine, scorer of the second. Super finish as well, like a seasoned striker. He took that goal. On the other side, central midfield, Joe Gibbon has really got a sterling role in there, alongside Caden Rodney. They do dovetail beautifully, those two, in the centre, and then the front three. There's no better front three, is there, in the whole of Premier League 2? Franco Umet, Ademola Ola Adebayomi, who got the assist for Hinslow Mustafa, who only does worldies, doesn't he, as he sprinted forward and lashed in the first goal to make it 10 for the season. Headed away by Luke Brown. Palace's bench, by the way: Dylan Reid, Jake Grant, Zach Marsh, Seb Williams and Joel Drakes-Thomas. Chelsea on a Bay strip with Harrison McMahon, the captain, now playing it forward for Brody Hughes. Hughes in the centre, feeds Genesis Antwi. And McMahon. But this was the tail of the first half. They had a lot of the play, a lot of the ball, and they just couldn't finish rather like that. Keanu Dyer, not for the first time this evening. Blasts one over when well set. It's only a half chance, isn't it? Well outside the box. All hands to the pump for Palace. And more errant, wayward shooting from Chelsea. Ted Curd in their goal. Their outfield players, Brody Hughes, Harrison Murray-Campbell, Landon Amanalo, Ishe Samuel-Smith, Captain Harrison McMahon, Genesis Antwi, who perhaps looked the most likely source of a goal for them. Sam Raksaki, Jesse's younger bro. Donnell McNeely, Keanu Dyer, and now Shamira Mahuku's come on at half-time for Ronnie Stotter. Their remaining subs, Michael's younger brother Richard Elise, Max Merrick, Atto Amper, and Ryan Kavuma McQueen. And we mentioned what happened. I mean, it probably stood Palace in good stead in more ways than one. Yes, they were absolutely overjoyed to turn it round at Manchester City. A very good team, 2-0 down, scored 3 second-half goals. I'm not going to use the cliche, but there were 2 very different 45 minutes of football, if you see what I mean. But the fact that they've done it to someone else will probably make them even more wary. You never know. Darren Powell might have mentioned it at half-time. 2-0 is not necessarily an impregnable, unassailable, insurmountable margin. You've got to go with the mindset, right, we've got to earn the right and graft our way to these points. Don't just lock up shop. Don't invite pressure. Try and get another goal. That might be the best way of defending the lead. The deficit was halved. It would change the balance of power and there'd be a momentum shift. But Palace were out to stop them. They negotiated 4.5 minutes and kept it at 2-0. Just looking to get a foothold back in the contest here, Chelsea. But Kelly Kapora, so assured, so confident. Now, Uma holds it up. Well, there were 3 players round him. He still retained possession. Here's Hindalo Mustafa. Lovely control. Uma's in here. Tight angle. And it's away. But what an attack that was. Uma pulling the strings at the heart of it. Got the shot away. And it's hit the woodwork. The keeper was beaten. An unlikely angle. He still wrapped his foot round the ball. Generated good power. Just couldn't get it inside the post. But the frame of the goal denies Palace, and that surely would have been game over there. Uma looking to continue his scoring spree of scoring each of the last 3, and he came so close to giving them even more of a buffer. But yeah, that shows their urgency, that shows the fact that they're going to go for more goals. No resting on the laurels here. And it's good to see Uma involved at the start of the move and nearly produced at the end of it. Keep you up to date with the Manchester City and Wolves game tonight in the Premier League. Of course, Manchester City, Crystal Palace's opponents in the FA Cup final. Sounds good, that, doesn't it? Palace with such a good run. They've had all the different types of wins, didn't they? Getting to the final. And, well, they saved their best performance for when it really mattered in the semi against a very good Villa team, and they made them look ordinary, didn't they, with quality goals and just a brilliant all-round performance. And the under-21s are doing their bit to keep everyone, to maintain the feel-good factor, the buzz around the club that you inevitably get when your team are about to play in the cup final. They want to play in their own cup final, these boys, and they're heading towards it. However, here come Chelsea now with a cut back by McMahon, but again, there's no end product from them. Harrison McMahon, the captain, sprinting into a good area in that corridor of uncertainty. Over went Gibbon. I think he just did enough to sow the seeds of doubt, and the job was completed by his captain, Luke Brown. But for all the good attacking play, you have to admire and applaud the levels they're achieving at the back here. This has been a stellar defensive job so far, keeping the sheet clean against one of the best attacking teams in the division. Keanu Dyer, right wing corner, with the right boot. Good to see the advert for Palace TV Plus. Official Palace app, download it now. There's the ball in, flicked on, no, it's over! They just can't finish, can they? This time it's Murray Campbell, unable to keep his shot down. Ball whipped over by Dyer from the set piece. It was just flicked on, wasn't it? He controlled it, and then on the half volley, Murray Campbell is unable to hit the back of the net, and that epitomises the frustrating night that Chelsea have experienced. Is it just going to be one evening too many for them? But a good campaign. We knew there'd be goals tonight, but it's Palace who found the finish when they've needed it, from Hindolo Mustafa and Rio Cardouz in the first half. And they'll be hoping to watch that Fulham-Southampton game play out in the quarter-final in the knowledge that they'll play the winner. At the moment they're on course to do that. It's going to take some effort from Chelsea to deny Palace now. Coming up to 54 minutes. Murray Campbell, who just battered that one over the crossbar. Murray Campbell being followed by Hindolo Mustafa. Back for his keeper, Kurd, well out of his penalty area. Landon Emanalo now takes up the play. Of course, we had the London Marathon not too far from here last weekend. Looks like Palace might have some sprint finish to the season. Of course, they did at senior level under Oliver Glasner last year. What an amazing end to the top flight campaign that was, getting up to such a good points tally into the top half of the table. And the youngsters did their bit, winning the Premier League International Cup, Continental European silverware. Are they going to get domestic addition to the trophy cabinet in this 2024-2025 campaign? Played some astoundingly good football this season. Is there better yet to come? Murray Campbell now for Dyer. Dyer, left-footed, and it's wide. Well, shot after shot, attack after attack, but nothing to concern Molden again. For all of the chances, for all of the good situations they've had, Molden's only had to make one save tonight. In fact, he might have got a touch to that. That might have been going in. He may have hit a defender. Might go down as a save. They haven't given a corner, so maybe he just got the faintest of touches. If so, that will go down as a good save. Here's the corner kick. Another good header. Crashed forward with a low trajectory. Murray Campbell for Chelsea. Unrelenting attacking at times, but they're very annoyed with themselves that they've lacked composure when it's really mattered. Palace have hassled, harried and pressed, pushed forward, not allowed them to settle. And they have had the good attacking forward there, and they had 2 goals in the first half, 2 good chances as well for Gibbard and Hindolo Mustafa. There's a foul there, and a free kick with Chelsea getting bodies forward into the Palace box again. Dyer will have the ball at his feet. The likes of Murray Campbell going forward, hovering on the edge of the box. Sam Raksaki and Brody Hughes as well. Dyer with Emanalo, going to have a little chat with him here, the number 4, maybe giving him some advice as to what to do as they look to reduce the arrears. The Palace subs watching on. There's Emanalo, a decoy here. He's moved away. Dyer, left arm up. Here it comes, low to the near post. No damage done. Emanalo challenging away there with Joe Gibbard. Tenacious, pugnacious, combative, competitive. And here now come Palace, possibly on the breakaway. They've won the ball well here. What a run this is by Kapora. He's got Umet available. And that's a brilliant interception by the backtracking Genesis Antwi. He's got forward well in this game, but he really turned on the afterburners there to get there, because for a moment it looked as though it was going to open up for another goal for Crystal Palace. Another change for Chelsea. Atto Ampa coming on for Genesis Antwi, the player who ran back to help out his rear guard there to prevent a third goal. Antwi just hasn't happened for him, has it? As Atto Ampa will try and change the balance of this game. He wants to try and get the pendulum swinging back to Chelsea. Header by Samuel Smith. Palace win it back. Great work by Hindalo Mustafa as he got another goal up his sleeve. He plays it for fellow scorer Cardines. Mustafa hoists it, hopefully. Just too much curl on the ball, though. And again, Ola Adebayo appreciates the idea, if not the execution necessarily. Not too far from the hour mark. It was so important, wasn't it, for Palace not to concede in the early stages of the second half, having gone in with a 2-0 lead, and they've actually had come the closest to scoring since the interval, with Umet blasting one against the post. Here's Hindalo Mustafa again! Oh, he only does worldish, you know. He's got his second of the evening, and surely that will be enough to see Palace safely through. It's more mesmerising Mustafa magic. The mercurial number 10 delivers. Ola Adebayo with yet another assist, played it into his path, and he was never going to miss. He plays with a smile on his face, a spring in his step, and he is a lethal finisher. That was utterly delightful. A Dear Diary moment, and well he might grin from ear to ear. That is so good to see. And Palace are blowing Chelsea away here. All the boxes ticked. It's been a superb all-round display, decorated, adorned by the shot-striking brilliance of Hindalo Mustafa. Cardines weighed in with a goal before the break as well. A beauty of a brace. Palace 3, Chelsea 0. Wow, wow, wow. And again, what about that for a little layoff? I mean, the first one before the break, Mustafa, it was on halfway, wasn't it, from Ola Adebayo with a little flick from Molden's clearance, and Mustafa had to run a good, 30 yards, and then he got the shot away. This time, he flicked it in, and he hit it into the net, and that one is high and wide, and you almost expect that to happen. I mean, on another night, Dyer could have had 2 or 3 goals of his own, but he's been so wasteful with his finishing, as are the rest of the team. And you just weren't worried from a Palace point of view there, really. In the D, looked up, assessed, and he hits it high, wide, not handsome at all. And again, it's another nearly story for Chelsea. It's been quite the story for Crystal Palace. 3-0 up, and dare I say it, in cruise control. The thing is about the Chelsea team, they'll keep charging, they'll keep chasing it, and that, for me, that's going to play into Palace's hands. It really is. Mustafa's on a hat-trick. Ola Adebayo will want to get in on the scoring act, you can be certain of that, and Umer as well has normally got a goal up his sleeve, so there's more goals in this. This could be a real statement win. I mean, the other teams left in this competition are going to be quaking in their boots, they really are. Yeah, we've got one final to look forward to. It's the final, of course, the FA Cup. That can't be beaten. But, yeah, I might have another one at youth level. But it's just, there's a real sort of fresh-faced exuberance and innocence, sheer love of the game on show as well. Yes, it's a pressure situation, but the way they've dealt with it has been refreshing. And the flicks and tricks of Ola Adebayo as well. It's been a big factor. Hindalo Mustafa now, he's on a hat-trick. Plays the pass, he returns the compliment for Ola Adebayo. Quick feet, Ola Adebayo 4-0. They're running away with this one now. This time it's Hindalo Mustafa with the assist. And Ola Adebayo hits it into the back of the net. Well, it's a hammering they're dishing out to Chelsea in this London derby. He's been unplayable, Hindalo Mustafa, irresistible. Ola Adebayomi got the better of Landon Emanalo and Ted Kurd in goal. Unforgettable, formidable, 4-0. Palace, well, they're playing some sensational stuff, they really are. 3 different scorers. Chelsea have just got no answer to a vibrant, buoyant Crystal Palace. It's proving a memorable night to start the bank holiday weekend from the Eagles. They lead Chelsea by 4 goals to 0. And it's 10 in 13 now, I make that, from Ola Adebayomi. Double-barreled. And the lead doubled since half-time, with Brody Hughes going off. Again, he's got into some great areas, Brody Hughes. Ryan Kavuma McQueen replacing him, but, well, Palace have been in form, but I'm not sure anyone saw this coming. 4-0. And here's Kapora. This could get embarrassing for Chelsea, because Palace won't stop at 4, by the way. They're ruthless. It's a statement win. It's going to be a convincing win. Can they achieve a shutout as well? And here now comes Atto Amper, gets the crossover. Oh, it's away by George King from under the bar. Yes, they've been full of panache and flair going forward, but boy, have they been resilient at the back. And personified by George King. Here's the ball now for Atto Amper, who I'm told is good pals with Ashraf Benone. Not sure they'll be such good friends after tonight, to be honest, but that was great. That was one of my favourite moments, actually, the last 12 months. Ashraf Benone getting a goal in the Stateside Cup. Oh, he's tipped it onto the bar. Louis Molden, that was high, hanging. It was just a speculative ball, but it was difficult flight to deal with, and he did well in the end, Louis Molden. He's tipped it onto his own crossbar. Could easily have dipped under it. 65 gone, 4-0 for Palace at Sutton. Here goes Hindalo Mustafa playing the pass. Well, as Chelsea start to tire, as they start to look for an unlikely route back into the game, well, when they had Ben Nevis to climb as a mountain at half-time, now it's Everest. It really is. It's, I mean, you've got to be the eternal optimist, haven't you, when you're backing these teams, and the Chelsea staff. It would take crazy comeback. Palace have just got to keep their eye on the ball here. No lapses in concentration. Don't give them a sniff. Keep them down. Here's King for Franco Ume. Maybe he's not going to be required. Maybe he's going to save up some goals for the last 4. Great chance of winning this, haven't they? These playoffs. Crystal Palace. Well, Chelsea don't know what's hit them. I'll tell you what's hit them. Very good Crystal Palace team. Crossing low, and that is Luke Brown. Well, they've done the unglamorous work as well, haven't they? Atto Amper. Sure, we'll have a friendly chat with Asher after this game. Can he help his team at least get a consolation? Surely that's all it'll be. We do still have, what, quarter of the contest to go. Approaching the midway point of the second half. Palace 4-0 up. They led 2-0 at half-time. They've kept pushing on, and they've had more scoring success. Chelsea, you have to applaud their spirit, their attitude. They're not throwing the towel, and they keep going. It hasn't been their night, but have stayed honest and they're doing their best in very trying circumstances here. Good work by Jamide. I'm sure Palace fans watching this on repeat will be absolutely loving it. And what a way to whet the appetite, not only for the Premier League game against European chasing Forest on Monday night. Of course, Palace still hoping for a top half finish. You never know, get as many points as possible, see where it takes you. But also for the FA Cup final in a couple of weeks, the under-18s, remember, Palace TV Plus tomorrow, 11 AM kick-off against Brighton. So it's a really exciting end to the season. Atto Ampa's done pretty well since coming on. Cross, headed away. They've been like magnets to the ball in the box though, haven't they? The likes of King, Jamide and Brown. I think the clean sheet will please them the most if they can achieve it. McNeely for Ampa. Towards that back post, helped back on the volley, away by Joe Gibbard. Samuel Smith. And Sam Raksaki. Shot straight at Malden by Shamira Nahuka. William Malden is determined to keep his sheet clean. When he's been required, he's done really well. Stood up to that one, it came at pace towards him, but he gathers it into the chest. Here's Rodney. Again, he's just gone about his business in unassuming fashion, done what's been required of him, as has Gibbard. And they've allowed the likes of Hindalo Mustafa, Ume, Ola Adebayomi to strut their stuff, and strut their stuff they have on this stage. 10 out of 10 performance this by Palace so far. Fourth official's just fiddling with his ball, so I think we might be getting ready for a change, maybe. Yep, Palace are going to make a switch very shortly, it would seem. That Dylan Reid, possibly, about to come on. He's been a really good player. Palace, they're just getting, the good thing is as well, you know, you have to applaud the fitness department, because they're getting better and better as the season goes on. They're playing with a real freshness about them. Here he goes then, Hindalo Mustafa plays the pass for Cardines, and now Gibbard takes up the play. Chelsea hoping to counter with McNeely. Plays it quickly. McQueen just strayed past the 70-minute mark. 4-0 to Palace. We'll bring you the goals, the main highlights at the end of the game. There are plenty of them. Is it Ume coming off? Well, he's not going to continue his scoring run, but he's given another really good display. Dylan Reid, good, solid midfielder who's got a scoring ability about him as well. And he's coming on for Franco Ume, who's scored in each of the past 3 and has played his part in what is proving a memorable night. And they're scoring for fun, haven't they? Palace this season, certainly towards the back end of the campaign. The goals are flowing. Defences are quaking in their boots. Ball hit firmly, good early contribution by Reid, and now it's Ola Adebayomi, tackled by Emanalo. Oh, he's won it back well here. There's Rio Cardines. Hindalo Mustafa for Kelly Kapora. Ola Adebayomi holds it up well. So strong on the ball, isn't he? Back to goal. He's given a really good, comprehensive, complete centre-forward performance over Adebayomi, hasn't he? Clever flicks, strong on the ball, and a very good finish for the 4th goal. Hindalo Mustafa lit the touch paper with his 2 splendid solo strikes. Now, Chelsea want a goal of their own. Away again, not for the first time, by Luke Brown, the commanding defender. A colossal performance from him. Imperious, impeccable, immensely impressive. Now it's a free kick for Chelsea. Just lunging in. Might say it was a little bit clumsy from King, but maximum commitment. A bit of it over-eager, no malice in it. He just slightly mistimed it, but he's been brilliant as well. No weak link. It'd be so hard, by the way, if we were picking a player of the match so far. I mean, yes, Indolo Mustafa, 2 the goals, but I just think they've all done so well. It would be sort of unfair to pick one out. Here's Amanalo, and then at the near post, Harrison Murray-Campbell blazes over. I suppose if Indolo was to get a third goal, we'd have to give him the match ball, and he'd deserve it, but he'll be happy with 2, and they are set for the semis. Make sure you stay tuned to Palace's channels to find out exactly when it will be. You'll have to wait to see who wins out of Fulham and Southampton. But they really are flourishing at just the right time, the business end of the season. Of course, we've seen these players, some of them get that little sniff of first team action as well. Oliver Glasner will be delighted with the way they're going. It's McNeely. And a free kick for Chelsea, but time's starting to run out for them. So far behind Dyer and Kavuma McQueen, headed away by Brown. Kapora. And he won't hurry to take this one, and nor should he. George King still got, they brought on Dylan Reid, they've still got Jake Grant, Zach Marsh, Seb Williams and Joel Drakes Thomas on the bench, Palace, if they choose to freshen things up. Palace have brought on Booker, Amper and Kavuma McQueen. It's really knocked the stuffing out of Chelsea, that 4th goal particularly. Any little crumbs of comfort they had, little glimmers of mounting an unlikely comeback, were surely dashed that moment. Although Adabomi just slotted past the ball into the corner. Indolo Mustafa with 2 goals and assist. Cardines with the other goal. Amper for Burker into the final quarter of an hour at Sutton. Fantastic Friday night for the Palace's youngsters. It all their own way, but they've had the scoring all their own way, importantly. Reid, dependable, reliable, versatile. Good player to come off the bench, who'll make an impact, who'll get involved. Here's pass by Dyer, cut out well, more exemplary defending, and now Reid looking to latch onto this pass. McMahon, the Chelsea captain, goes over right under the watchful gaze of Darren Powell. This will be a very satisfying evening's work from his team. Well, Louis Molden has got a problem here, and the first time we've needed either physio, but he'll be desperate to play in the semi-final. So let's hope this is nothing too serious. Don't have a people on the bench, and fingers crossed, everything else crossed for Louis, who's played his part. He made a very big save when it was 1-0 to keep them at bay. His positioning's been good. He's had that authority that's spread through the team. Good communication levels between him and those 3 central defenders in front of him. Luke Pickard working his magic. Always wonder what exactly is in that bag, but it usually does the job. There's a feature for you on Palace TV Plus one of these days. Yep, he's okay. Great stuff. Rock at the back. Good distribution. Shot stopping. Collecting the crosses. Now, I think we might have another change or two imminent. But wow, what a pleasing evening on every level for Darren Powell. As darkness starts to descend, got some lovely weather, but there was a deluge just before the game started, really hammered down, followed by sunshine, no doubt a rainbow or two. It's calmed down rather. And Palace have turned on the style, big time. Nice symmetry, 2 goals in each half. Well, I suppose the 5th would be greedy. They did get 5 in the second half at West Ham, and that was a sign of things to come. They're not just sort of nicking games, are they? They're not just. Yes, sometimes you do need to show that tougher side. You do get the odd scrappy win, but they're winning in style. They're scoring some memorable goals as well. Played by Gibbard for Kapora. Reed, first time. Cleared by Chelsea, but Burka. Good running from the Chelsea number 14. Picks out fellow sub Amper, who pops up on the left this time. Amper into the penalty area. Shot deflected of King, but it's been that sort of night for Chelsea. They've relished the prospect of getting forward, but every time they seem to have got a shot or a cross into the box, there's been a Palace defender there to deal with it. Final 10 of this Premier League 2 playoff quarter-final. Palace set for the semis with something to spare. In comes the cross, headed away. Reed it was. That's good work again to foil the attacking intent of Harrison Murray-Campbell. George King has really put in a shift. They've all had good nights at the office. Malden, having received their medical help, is moving freely enough and gets ready to propel this goal kick forward. Closing in on now. The outcome not in doubt. Nice position to be in. They've got a big advantage. They can enjoy the remainder of this contest as they contemplate a semi-final. Referee blows on his whistle. More disappointment for Chelsea. They've fallen short here in the Premier League. By the way, Manchester City 1-0 up on Wolves. Assist for Doku, the goal for Kevin De Bruyne for 35 minutes, drawing towards the end of the first half here. We're drawing towards the end of the second half here in Premier League 2. Emanalo. Kurd, beaten on 4 occasions. Remember, Gibbard, Mustafa, a good chance in the first half. Umar hit the post in the second as well as the 4 goals. Gibbard, I think this is the best I've seen from him in the under-21s. He's been commanding. Cardines away by Emanalo. And now Hindalay Mustafa will get it back. He's got a chance for his hat-trick. Great save, but the ball should be followed in, and it is. And it's a second for Ademola Adebayomi and a fifth for Crystal Palace. They've had panache, they've had poise, full of goals, full of happiness. And well, Hindalay Mustafa may have been denied a tremendous treble by Ted Kurd, but they're typically lurking, loitering with striking intent in the right place at the right time was Ola Adebayomi to put the cherry on top of the icing, on top of the Premier League 2 playoff quarter-final cake for the Junior Eagles. They have, well, really turned on the style here. It's been a fabulous Friday night of football. They've been great ambassadors for the club tonight, continuing the feel-good factor at CPFC. And now Ola Adebayomi's final act on a wonderful evening for Crystal Palace's under-21s is to score his second goal, his team's fifth, as he is replaced. Hindalay Mustafa is departing as well as some of the youngsters get their chance. Great to see Zach Marsh come on, Joel Drakes-Thomas, Seb Williams all enter the fray. Crystal Palace 5, Chelsea 0. And well, looked at all intents and purposes that Hindalay Mustafa was going to complete his hat-trick. One of the players going off there was Joe Gibbard. Yeah, so, you know, obviously football is about goals, and inevitably making the headlines are Ola Adebayomi and Hindalay Mustafa, who've been irrepressible, have been superb. But I have to say, equally as good in his own way was Joe Gibbard there, being withdrawn, because for all your Ola Adebayomis and your Mustafas and your Umes, you need your Gibbards and your Rodneys, don't you, just to give the shape to the team. And yeah, very, very eye-catching. It's been, wow, a joy to behold this Palace performance. Just 5 minutes to go, and the whistle can't come soon enough. But you would say a dejected, deflated Chelsea, but they've not let that show on the pitch. A lot of subs on now. They're trying to have a positive conclusion to the game, and here's the cross in from McNeely. They'll be fully focused on stopping Chelsea from scoring tonight. More great stuff at the back from the home side. Just ushered behind by Caden Rodney. We'll bring you all the goals at full time. So many highlights. Which was your favourite? The first one was mine. I mean that, surprised it didn't rip the netting out from Hindalay Mustafa after we had the subtlety of Ola Adebayomi with the layoff, and then Hindalay Mustafa with the power, the pace, and the beautiful, powerful, generated, phenomenal speed on the shot with the goal, and they never looked back from that point. It's good to see all the subs coming on as well. Papora, fabulous from him. Jake Grant's on as well. So we've seen Dylan Reid, Jake Grant, Zach Marsh, Seb Williams and Joel Drakes-Thomas all come on. 5 subs, 5 goals. And Louis Mulder made a big save at 1-0 before Rio Cardines made it 2-0 at the break. Palace hit the post through Ume in the second half before 3 second half goals. Hindalay Mustafa with another belter. And then Ola Adebayomi with 2 of his own. Often gets a brace, and he did so tonight before being withdrawn. They're the bare bones of it. In some top draw defending when required. Chelsea actually played positively throughout. They've kept trying to ask the questions, but just haven't come up with anything special in the finishing department. we mentioned the one good save Malden's made, but so many have gone wide and got over the bar from Chelsea, but Palace fully merit their advantage. And it's definitely going to raise eyebrows. Full Palace at full time, by the way, 5 goals, and they've had a goal disallowed, of course. Cardine's had the ball in the net before he scored the one that counted. Oh, lovely footwork that from Malden. It needed to be. The ball came at him at a fair amount of pace. The referee gives a yellow card there to Ryan Kavuma McQueen. A bit naughty. Couple of minutes to go. And is it a yellow for Louis Malden? I mean, I was told actually, I think by Toby, that the ref was shouting countdowns at the goalkeepers on Monday to stop time wasting. That's being trial. That is going to come into the game. It's going to be a big factor in the Premier League, I think, next season, to try and prevent teams who are trying all the tricks in the book just to close out a game. I'm not sure what the card was for exactly for Malden there, but doesn't really block the copybook. It's just been a night of highs for Palace and no lows. Great work there by Sab Williams. And now Drakes Thomas. Looks a natural, doesn't he, at under 21 level. Williams, low ball in. Will it come through for Rio Cardines? No, Dylan Reid. Very different look to this Palace team now. Drakes Thomas for Williams with the cross. Well, they're looking no less threatening despite the flurry of subs. The effervescence, exuberance of youth. Drakes Thomas, oh, that would have finished it beautifully from Joel Drakes Thomas on his second under-21 appearance. Got it from under his feet, whipped the shot over. Good save. It could have been worse, this, for Chelsea. They've just had no response to Palace's excellence, and even the subs getting in on the act. He's some talent, isn't he, Drakes Thomas? And they just look so comfortable in this environment. Yeah, you could say you can't get a worse environment to go into when you're so far ahead in the game. Here's a good run by King. He's never stopped running, and he's exemplified the high levels they've achieved tonight. As we get to 90 minutes, remember, you will see all the goals at full time. Bit of treatment for Samuel Smith as we play out the closing rights, the dying embers. I mean, even the most optimistic Palace fans surely wouldn't have believed this scoreline. I mean, Palace are capable of beating anyone convincingly on their night, and they've really been on their game in all departments. They've clicked, they've purred, they've sparkled. And, well, lying on his back, Samuel Smith. There's no way back for Chelsea. Palace have been even better in the second half than they were in the first. And he's in some distress, so we wish Samuel Smith well here. I think he's unable to get up for the time being. The Chelsea staff attending to him. They're trying to get a message to the technical area. I don't know whether we're going to need a stretcher here. No problem with the left leg, I think, for Samuel Smith. But, well, Palace have thoroughly enjoyed this. Well, he is back on his feet. It's good to see. Chelsea's season coming to an end. Remember, Palace under-18s against Brighton tomorrow. 11 a.m. kickoff, hoping to end the league campaign with a win. They've been competing well in the higher echelons. They're just going to fall short in terms of winning the title. Villa with all the games in hand, and Arsenal been doing well. They've still had a good campaign. As Chelsea are forced into a late change. Remember, the first team Monday night live audio commentary. The game against Forest. Richard Elise. Well, different emotions for him. Michael's younger brother. He scored their 4th goal as a substitute in the last meeting in a 4-2 win, but that didn't mean anything. Both teams had already qualified. When everything was on the line tonight, it's Palace who've delivered. Big style. But Richard Lise will just get a little cameo for Samuel Smith. Reed for Zach Marsh. Marsh pivots. And now Cardines. Oh, he's already scored one tonight. It's high and wide. And Kerr's been busy. But clinical finishing. That's been the difference in many ways between the two teams. Kerr hasn't got close to the 5 efforts that ended up in Palace goals. Here now from Chelsea with Raksaki. It's bizarre, isn't it? We've got Raksaki and Elise both on, playing against Palace. Drakes Thomas. Williams, such a good technical player. Drakes Thomas now, the number 17, into the penalty area. Plays the pass. Marsh, good block. Excellent defending that by Richard Elise. Swift, slick, sick and quick from Palace's youngsters there. Marsh, the substitute, almost making it 6. Still time for this corner. Deep inside stoppage time. They've not taken their foot off the gas at any moment. Looking to make it half a dozen. Reed, left wing, right boot, both arms up, Palace TV Plus. Header up high. Danger hasn't quite gone, it pops up for Kurd. He's had a very busy evening picking the ball out of his net. Worked neatly by the Chelsea rearguard, looking for a consolation. Wouldn't be much consolation. Still we play. Williams has had a lot of touches. Looks so good on the ball, doesn't he, Seb Williams? And now it's Joel Drakes Thomas, who's really made an impact off the bench. Comes through for Marsh. And it's Zach Marsh now to make it half a dozen into the corner. And that completes a sparkling night under the lights for the Palace youngsters. Zach Marsh gets in on the scoring act. And it's a magnificent 6 for Palace. They're into the semi-finals. They want a trophy at the end of the season. And they might just get one the way they've been playing. Marsh delivers with the finish. And that sums up a sensational evening for Crystal Palace's under-21s. 2 goals in the first half, 4 in the second. They've got bags of talent in this squad, and we've seen it big style tonight. Marsh set himself. Drakes Thomas, it's been some cameo from him as he played the pass, and Marsh was never going to miss there. Unerring every time he plays. For Palace, he looks dangerous. He's a selfless player. He thoroughly deserves his goal. And it's Crystal Palace 6, Chelsea 0. Flawless. Fabulous. Fantastic. There goes the final whistle. Crystal Palace into the playoff semi-finals. And they've done it with an astonishingly good display. They were 2-0 up at the break. A belter from Hindalo Mustafa. Rio Cardines got in on the act as well before Mustafa rifled in a third after half-time. Ademola Ola Adabomi pocketed a pair, and then the rout was completed by the brilliance of substitute Zach Marsh.